Hey everyone, welcome to Geek Rant. It's Greg again on the channel with Toby and Sarah. And today we're going to be talking about episode 6 of the House of the Dragon. Thanks for joining us today. As I said in the title there, we're going to be talking about episode 6 of the House of the Dragon. Which is
the Princess and the Queen.
The Princess and the Queen. We've been really enjoying this series so far, and this was another. I thought this was another good episode, another good addition. But this is obviously at this point where they've done this big 10-year time jump.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
So there's a few sort of changes in allegiances and setups and so on.
Yeah, but not just that. The actual actors have changed.
Right.
All the women actors, none of the male actors.
No.
Apart from one or two.
There's two women characters that have changed, isn't there? And there's one male character who's changed. Is that right? And I think that just reflects that there's probably more stronger characters.
Because obviously there were a lot of children age characters, weren't there? They've grown up a bit. So I mean, running through it, Alicent, that she's the queen, married to Viserys, and obviously they've changed the actor who plays her.
She's had a complete personality change
overhaul.
As well, though.
Yeah, I think she's probably the most dramatic change, isn't she, in the show?
Yes.
This
Definitely.
episode.
It's not quite true to how she would have been.
Now that's interesting you say that. I find that really
they set a few things up, didn't they? They tried to set up a few things in the last scene with her wearing the green, and creating these assumptions about Rhaenyra.
But also, for me, I think the other thing that had a profound effect on her was when her father was taken away his hand. And he told her, didn't he, out in when he was leaving, you've got the ability to do this and to become, very, very powerful. Aegon,
think of Aegon,
king. You've got to protect him. You've got to be able to, and I think that gave her a kick up the pants to try and then become more authoritative. And that's, then after that, she's gone and worn this green dress to show she means business.
Yes.
I mean, obviously that's normally a declaration of war, but she's not gone that far, has she? Because it's all still.
I agree with Sarah, though. I think that the personality. Obviously, she's going to be more progressive and more aggressive, and try and push. But it felt like she was quite a different sort of character.
Right?
There was a timidness to the other actress that is certainly not there with this new one. Now that may well happen. People change dramatically, don't they? Sometimes.
I think she's obviously been through some stuff. She was lied to, a fair bit, wasn't she? About she found out about Kristen having the affair. There was supposedly Damon was having had slept with her, but she did, and I think it was a combination of things, maybe. There's definitely a marked change in her character, but again, we haven't seen the 10 years, have we?
But the thing with her getting really cross about finding out that the princess had slept with that, I think that was too extreme. Why would she be that angry about her having sex with a knight with a guard? Why is that so?
Do you think she was angry? Do you think she was angry because her friends, they were good friends at that point? Do you think she was angry?
No, they weren't good friends, because the princess felt betrayed.
They drifted apart, hadn't they?
She'd been married to the king for 7 years and had his children, and their relationship ended. And the queen was desperate to have that friendship still. And she felt terrible that she'd kind of egged her way into the king's affections underhandedly, as directed by her father. And she, when the princess found out that she was going to become the queen, that was the end of their friendship at that point. And then it was 7 years on, wasn't it, that their children had come, and she was still trying to make up with the princess. And then the princess didn't lie to her. She just said she didn't have sex with Damon.
I know, but she may have thought that was still some sort of deceit.
absolutely.
I think the other thing
change so drastically.
Well, I think the other thing that you've got to bear in mind is she, in episode 5, she'd struck up this friendship with Larys, and
Larys Strong.
He is a really underhand, nasty character.
We get a real sense of that with this one, don't we? We get
maybe that could have had an impact on her. She was there having a meal with him, complaining
She's
about.
Very naive to let herself. So she comes across in this new episode as really strong and opinionated, and yet she's clearly being guided by Larys Strong, who's completely guiding her in the wrong direction.
Yes, yeah, I don't know. I think she was a bit paranoid. It felt like she was a bit paranoid. She was obviously, there was that bit where she speaks to her son Aegon, and he's standing there doing that out the window.
That was a bit of a horrific.
She then says to him, "You'll be the king, and you're going to be, they'll be against us if Rhaenyra, can cut off the whole, inheritance if she gets into power." So she's paranoid. She said to Larys, there's people all around me that want to against me. I've got no allies in some, so I think there's a certain amount of it is she's a bit paranoid, and she's lashing out a bit. She's not dealing with it very well.
I think on the other side we've got Rhaenyra, haven't we?
Yes.
Who the actress who plays Rhaenyra, Emma D'Arcy. D'Arcy. She's much more like the other actress in my mind. I think she seems to have taken on the same traits that Millie Alcock was portraying before, and I felt much more like this is Rhaenyra
grown up.
I had much, and I felt that she is they're both good actors. I thought they were good, but I thought she kind of just pipped it a bit with her interpretation of the character. I just thought that she had a lot to deal with this in this episode as well, didn't they? It was about birth and rebirth, and there's lots of kind of motives in there, and she very much has taken on this role of deceit within power, and she seems quite happy with it, and the actress has portrayed this very cleverly, and in her mind she was justified from the beginning. She made this deal, didn't she, that she could have these affairs.
She kind of suggested she would have his children, though.
All the kings before her did this. I mean, and when you go to it's such a big deal because she's a woman. But
because she has the babies, not because she's a woman.
What?
She has the babies, so the evidence is there. So the blokes get away with it, which isn't right.
In Game of Thrones, in the original series, those children were not the kings; they were Jamie Lannisters, was there?
Oh no, yes, you're right.
Would he have been hung? He wouldn't. Would the king have been hung for fighting?
If their hair had been brown, maybe yes. If their hair had been brown, then maybe they would have done. But because it's so obvious that these are bastards, that's the whole point. That's the point.
Yeah, but it was in Game of Thrones because the king wasn't blonde.
No. But it doesn't matter, does it? Because ultimately, the brown is so against the family. The family line,
the Targaryen white.
But you had the king justifying it. The mayor had.
It also doesn't help that Leonor is mixed race as well. So you would expect a little bit more of a mix in there. Do you know what I mean? A darker skin.
It's completely obvious.
It's completely obvious it's not hers. And obviously Alicent is infuriated by this, isn't she?
Yeah.
That was one of her driving things that she wanted to try and expose it, I suppose, to get Aegon onto the throne.
I mean, I think that she's a bit short-sighted, the queen, trying to turn the king against his own daughter. I think that's a bit short-sighted as well.
Well, she's seen him. I think that there's a lot of infighting, isn't there, within the bloodline? I mean, I think she kind of expects that Viserys will like he went against Daemon, he will go against Rhaenyra, and he's
also
do that.
Daemon's his brother, Rhaenyra's his daughter.
And he has got a legitimate son, Aegon. You know, Aegon is a legitimate son. The laws of the land have generally been the first son will take the throne. I think that's
it's the stubbornness that Viserys has as a character has demonstrated the whole way along. His stubbornness has often led him down the wrong decision. You know, he's often, you know, and I think he's been consistent with this denial and this kind of, you know, it's believable. It's frustrating when you're watching it because you think it's bloody obvious, but he can't see it. He can't see because he loves her, you know, and he
doesn't want to see, does he? He doesn't want to see.
He obviously knows. He just he won't entertain.
Exactly. He doesn't want to admit it.
He's not stupid, is he?
No. No. But
it's interesting. Now, a lot happened at the end. When the episode finished, I was like, crikey, so much has just gone on in that. It was an hour. When I put it on, it said an hour and a half, but I think that just had all the adverts.
It's the adverts and stuff, isn't it? It was a good length episode, definitely. Like you say, a lot happened.
Well, they're teeing up for the war, the civil war that's going to be raging. So they've got to lay down every reason why everybody's involved with who they are and where they're going to be going.
And which team they're on.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Viserys is looking terrible, isn't he? He's on his last legs. I mean, all his hair's gone.
His arm's gone. You were right, Toby.
He's looking a bit more like Gollum out of Lord of the Rings, isn't he? You know, the hair's going, and he's looking that bit at the end there when he was kissing that, and he was like all sort of like, he did look, and he's doing well as portraying this dying person, isn't he? But, you know, it's,
I did half expect to see him disrobed and then have some sort of special effect where they've got his arm
really gruesome, all like he's all got stuff all over his body.
I think
they
may well do that. I wouldn't put it past them.
Surely.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, no, they like a little bit of shock, don't they, with these things? You know? It was interesting to see how Daemon has kind of how his character's changed as well. You know, he doesn't seem so interested in being part of the family or the court or anything. He's kind of gone a little bit nomadic, isn't he?
Although he wanted to accept the offer of that chateau, didn't he?
He did, to stay there and just to sort of, you know, protect,
be out of the way a bit.
So I thought his wife was a really good character, and is it Lyanna? I think
something like that. They're all quite similar names, aren't they?
There's Lyanna and there's Lyanna, and I think she's Lyanna. And I thought, do you know what? After last week, when we saw at the very beginning that Daemon's first wife and how she got killed, you know, I was like, this is a good character, and then suddenly she got killed as well. Childbirth again. They got to think about childbirth in this program, haven't they? There were two in this episode.
Oh, it is all about blood, this show, isn't it? It's about,
well, the intro is all blood, isn't it? Following the lines of the blood and so
they keep adding bits to that as well and changing it. And
but I thought her dragon as well was really cool. That he was this big, you know, sort of unusual dragon, wasn't he?
Yeah, very grim.
He was great, but
he's
that was quite
dragon.
That was quite a sad story, wasn't it? I felt a bit for Daemon there, how he'd got a couple of kids, didn't he, already, and obviously he was, you know, happier with her. And she quite admired him, didn't she, in some respects? You know, she thought he
held him in high
man.
regard.
She thought he was a great man that was letting himself, you know, not be. He should fulfill his potential, you know, and she was keen to get back, wasn't she, and be part of the Velaryon family, and he wanted to stay away. But I think this might change things. I think. Do
you think he's pining? He's pining for Rhaenyra. Do you think he's not quite? He's not quite happy. No. And one of his twins said that he just ignores her. So, you know, unfortunately, Sarah, I think this is a bit of a sexist thing. I think he wants a boy, doesn't he? He wants an heir. you know, and I think that would have been a motivator for him. I think I think that was the hint there for me, that he wanted an heir so that he could then challenge for have the throne through that heir,
right?
You know, and support the push for that. But
yeah,
you know.
But yeah, I did think it was sad when she went outside after, you know, couldn't give birth, and she went outside, and I thought it was a bit odd that she managed to get away from everybody and she was on her own.
Too.
And he came out quite a bit later when he was just about a flamer. But yeah, it was quite sad. And the dragon was like,
there's I heard someone say it's a dragon rider's death or something like that. Some special death thing they say to the dragon.
She wanted to go a particular way, didn't she, rather than in a bed, you know. So that was quite you know. But the other big development for me was the whole Strong family. And obviously, you know, we saw Kristen has become a bit of a funny character, hasn't he? He's changed quite a bit. He was honourable before, and now he's calling the queen name, the princess names behind her back, and plotting and planning against her. He's very bitter.
They could have given us an older character, an older actor for him.
I thought maybe he could have been. Yeah, he was the same.
I think it was out of place that it was the same actor when all of the other actors of that sort of age had aged.
I think he was a bit older than that's part of the reason why Alicent was a bit put out, because he was like 5 or 6 years older than her, and I felt like he was in a position of responsibility,
right,
as well as being the guard, and that he was an older man.
Although she's taken him right under the wing.
To age him though, or anything, they could have tried to age him.
Yeah, I agree.
A bit of grey in his hair.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially when you see the king and how fucked up he is.
He's dying as well, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I guess a little bit of grey in his black hair.
He's had the one ring too long.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, he was really sneaky and trying to rile them up and being.
Well, he did, didn't he? He riled up Harwin. Who ended up fighting him in the training yard where the kids were doing their sword fight training. And then that sent the whole House Strong into, you know, an issue, didn't it? You know,
it just undid them.
Yeah. It did. So Lion, on the other hand, wanted to quit, didn't he, as the hand? He took his son back to the castle. But then it was Larys, you know, who suddenly turned around after speaking to the Queen.
Family.
Yeah, killed his own father and brother,
and it's surprising because I don't feel like he could. I don't feel like he could trust Alicent. I think she's a bit judgmental and unpredictable, and if she was shocked by his act, and his implication was that it was her who had ordered it.
Yes,
you know, at the end of the day,
he's making her his accessory.
Accomplice.
He's going to blackmail her and basically say, if you don't reward me, I will say you told me to do it.
But I don't think that'll wash. I think she could easily just have him got taken away, you know.
I think that's going to make her vulnerable to him.
Yes.
I think she obviously feels guilt around quite a few things. I think because some of that's it is her motivation. She's operating from a place of fear, and he's obviously playing upon that a bit. But I personally think that she could easily take down Larys.
Yes, she could say to Kristen, just sort him out for me, will you? And I'm sure he would do it. You know, he's trying to blackmail me, and can you sort him out? I think she's still got that thing over Kristen about sleeping with the princess. Do you know what I mean? And that could have been a lot worse for him. So he's loyal to her for that reason. The Larys, he's really sort of come out of his shell, this one, hasn't he? And
I think we should have had more time with him. I think that
we haven't seen enough of him.
I don't really understand him enough yet.
I know what you mean.
What's it?
There was no preamble to this underhandness. It's like there's no reason for him to be this evil. It would have been good to see something.
I agree.
He is also now the he's also now the head of his house, isn't he? You know, he's now the head of the strong house, because he wasn't the heir, was he? Harwin was the heir, so he's now got that authority to be a head of a strong house, and Lionel had been the hand. You know, sometimes some of these people, maybe he's moving towards the hand's position or something like that.
I was going to say, who do you think will be the hand now?
Yeah, well, this is a good one. I was surprised. The one I would think, I don't think he'd go back to Otto, but I think what about Corlys, Velaryon, the sea snake? Because we didn't see him in this episode.
No.
That was my little bit of disappointment, was we didn't see him. We didn't see Otto. There wasn't any of that. It would have been nice to sort of see, what are they doing in the background? You know, especially as the princess is married to Leonor. Also, Daemon is married to Laena. You know, the Velaryons are quite a powerful house. Why wasn't he part of the council?
Alicent would have maybe had a part in that. I don't know. Do you think that she's? I don't know.
I think
it's tricky. Maybe that's so
enough.
much to pack in. They just had to make a decision. You know, well, we can't follow these guys in this episode. As you were saying, Sarah, at the end of it, it's like, blimey, what are we going to do to take all that in? Right. There are some good characters lined up, ready to swing back into action. Yeah,
that would be good. I think if they can come back round and.
I think that obviously Daemon and the princess will come together now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be right. They've both lost their partners, haven't they?
I think I said to Greg the other day that I was watching the Game of Thrones. I'm into series 7.
Are you rewatching Game of Thrones?
Yeah, rewatching it, and there was an episode where Joffrey's talking to one of the Stark girls, and he tells a story of what we're watching, and I'm like, oh god.
Does he?
Yeah, he tells exactly what happens to Rhaenyra at the end, and I'm like, oh
no,
that spoiled it for me. I didn't, of course, I hadn't anticipated that would happen, but it did. So they are going to come together at some point. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that could be the one side of the civil war, couldn't it? So, what do you think is coming then? I mean.
Have you watched the trailer for the next episode?
No, I haven't actually. No,
I haven't.
I've not done that. I was thinking we should try and make some predictions.
Yeah, I know. I haven't before this episode. I didn't watch the trailers, but I watched the trailer for this episode, and actually, it felt quite good to have done it, to kind of understand a bit more before watching the episode.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to watch the next trailer as well before I watch the next episode. Okay. I do. I just felt like it gave me a bit of a grounding.
How much longer do we give the king?
One more episode.
He's holding on.
He's going to die in this next episode, I reckon.
You think he's going to die in the next episode?
Yeah. And then...
And that's going to kick everything off, isn't it?
Basically.
Yeah.
It's going to be his death that's going to kick everything off.
There's only 4 more episodes.
Yes, that's right.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to have to wait another 2 years.
It's been a great series, hasn't it? And,
it's been great.
And like we're saying there's been so much to talk about, so much to go through. I mean, we can, you know, we've not picked it apart much, have we? Really? And there's so much to remember, and that's gone on. When you compare it to some of the other series we're watching, you know, Rings of Power. Has been real hard slog in comparison.
I think we've got to give them credit as well, the showrunners, that they've managed to transition the new actors into the show, and it hasn't been too bad. I didn't think it was quite as good as the last episode, but I still thought it was bloody amazing.
I think it was a great episode.
I've got doubts about Olivia Cook playing Alicent, but you know, we'll just see how that evolves. And the kids really amused me as well. The kids in the show, I thought they were hilarious.
They were quite funny, weren't they?
They were funny.
Dragons, and they said
dinosaurs.
That's very Games of Thrones as well, isn't it?
It was.
You know, there was a lot of them doing things and getting in trouble or mucking about, spiteful things to each other.
Yeah.
And there was always
spoiled, lanky kids.
I thought it was quite interesting, the difference between the Queen's children and the Princess's children. And just the Queen's, the eldest, I've forgotten his name.
Aegon Targaryen.
Aegon. He doesn't seem bothered about becoming the king.
No.
He's just a joker.
He's like, he's 13, isn't he, or something like that?
Yeah. You'd think that the Queen would have given him much more direction much earlier on and made him much seriouser about it.
It doesn't always happen that way, though, does it?
He's so ambitious.
Yes.
Well, Aemon's an interesting character because he hasn't got a dragon, and I found that was really interesting. I thought that was fascinating.
It made him quite angry, though.
It did, but I think he's a good character. I think Aemon.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some good things come for him, or some interesting stuff.
And actually, Larry,
that's a setup.
The eldest son for Rhaenyra, I think he's going to be quite a good person as well. I think maybe feeling a bit displaced because he figured out he's a bastard.
Yeah.
But I mean, there aren't that many good characters in the show, are there? They're all pretty foul, and the only really good one, Lionel Strong, who he got killed. Praise when Viserys said, "You've 10 years good service." You felt like, yes, Lionel, you deserve a bit of praise.
we should know then he's going to die. We should know that he's going to die in the next episode.
There's no good characters now, is there? They're all twisted or warped by power.
Well, the King's, I think the King's good.
Yes, he is.
He's
right. Dying though, isn't he? He's really, he's on his last legs, so he's not able to.
We saw the rat again, didn't we? We saw the rat. He looked across at the rat when he was.
Oh, he looked at it this time, didn't he?
Yeah. The rat's waiting to eat him up, isn't it?
That's important. Man. Him seeing it, acknowledging it. That I think there was almost like a realization that he's dying, and that is it. The corruption has spread. There's nothing you can do.
No.
What steps is he going to take before he dies, though? That is the question.
I mean, he'd said in the previous episode, and he wanted to leave a bit of a legacy and be seen as a good king, and all that sort of thing. And he's worried about that, isn't he? So it's he's doomed. Bless him.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What a way to go as well, blimey.
Now that Lyanna,
this is what I was thinking,
has died, and there's a spare dragon. Will he get the big dragon? Imagine that, this little massive dragon.
They're definitely lining him up. I think there's a certain visual sympathy for him in the show. And I think he will get a dragon. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I think the younger twin whose dragon hasn't hatched, I think she'll also get a dragon. I think there's going to be two handouts here. Yeah. Dragon handouts.
Well, there's that bit where Rhaenyra is offering, the hand of marriage of her first son and to the Queen's child. And also an egg, Aemond. God, got all these names right.
Well, to be honest, they're all sort of similar.
Stop killing all the characters and bringing in new characters. Hard to remember all the names.
Just as we learned the first set. I still haven't learned the first set.
No, I fully haven't either.
No,
it's good. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a good episode.
Excellent.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today. We're really enjoying that and looking forward to the next episodes. If you've got any comments, please put them below. Obviously, we'd love more subscribers and people to like our videos. So please do that. That'd be great. Otherwise, we'll see you soon. Take care.